Hey YouTube, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about this powerhouse called Kefir or Kefir. It's made with milk. In this case, it's a milk grain kefir. I'm going to show you the process of how you take care of kefir grains from start to finish and talk a little bit about its benefits to the body and why it's so important to get probiotics in general, but how kefir is a cut above all the rest of the other probiotic products that you can consume in your body. So here it is. The kefir grains are floating around within this milk. The milk that you choose should, of course, be the best quality that you can afford to buy. And I would personally say that grass-fed milk from a farm, somebody who's, got their cows out into the pasture eating grass and feeding them grass during the winter months is going to be the best place that you're going to find good quality milk. But second would be the heat treated milk that you would find over at the grocery store. Organic, of course, would be first. And then, of course, last place would be milk. Now, there's another type of milk that people buy sometimes, and it's extremely high heat. And I don't know that people realize it. I'm just going to interrupt myself here for a minute. I was going to start speaking about something called ultra heat treated milk. There's quite a few brand names out there nowadays that have it, or it might be also called ultra filtered milk. In this case, the milk is treated at a higher temperature than the average milk is heated at the grocery store. And when that happens, it kills almost every possible bit of live bacteria inside of the milk. So in this case, it's not usable for making kefir. Kefir cannot work when you use that, and kefir will just sit there and become dull and lifeless in that type of milk. So it's the only kind of milk that you can't use. If it says ultra heat treated or ultra filtered milk, you cannot make kefir with it, and I'm pretty sure you can't make cheese with it either. You can also use 2% milk, but I would recommend the fat in the homogenized milk because our body needs fat in this format. So I wouldn't be afraid of fat as much as I would be afraid of sugar or high carbohydrate type things when you're talking about weight gain or weight loss projects that you're working on. So in any case, 3% homogenized milk would probably be the best type for this. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when I separate the grains that are in here from the milk that is now fully fermented. It's been sitting on my counter for about 5 days now, I want to say. There really is no rhyme or reason to how long you keep it, other than what you need to know is if you're in a warm place or in a warm, like if you're in a warm environment, if your kitchen's warm, then it's going to ferment much faster than if your kitchen is really cold. And so that's the only thing that you have to keep in mind. Other than that, there's no real science to it. And you can see right here, when it's starting to separate the whey from the curd, that is your sign that it is fully fermented. And this does have a sour taste to it, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this and show you what it looks like separated from each other. So first thing you can see is there's chunky bits and then there's liquid bits. You just pour it all into the strainer. And you can see the liquid parts are straining through pretty quickly and easily. And not all this chunky bit here is kefir grains. It's mixed in with, chunks of curd, which is the milk fermented. So what I'm going to do is stir this up until it gets to the point where all that's left in the top of the strainer is the actual kefir grains. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Okay, so here it is. This is kefir, and this is what we call kefir right here. It's made with milk, and this is the kefir grain that you're going to need in order to make kefir. So the kefir grains are used over and over again, and it's a really cool mystery because these have been around for thousands of years, these kefir grains, and they just continue to multiply over and over and over again. So what I started out with was about a tablespoon of kefir grains. And now it's about, I would say, probably about 4 tablespoons worth of kefir grains. It's multiplied over time as I make a batch and then strain it out and make a new batch and strain it out. And this kefir was purchased from somebody on Kijiji, which is like a Craigslist for Americans, I guess. So you can get it from a friend if you know somebody who is making kefir. You can get it from somebody online that you don't know. They could just like sell it to you, maybe $5 for a tablespoon of kefir grains, and then you just maintain it from there. Or you can purchase it freeze dried, I believe, online. But I would recommend getting the fresh kefir grains from somebody in the community. So this is what it looks like. So it sort of looks almost like a cauliflower type texture to it. It's really gelatinous, like it's very gelatinish. It's kind of soft and gooey. And this is the kefir grains that have been around for thousands of years. And what's really cool about it is that it produces not just probiotics, but it produces healthy yeasts and bacteria, which is of course what helps to ferment the milk. I'll put on the screen what different strains it produces, a few of them. But when you think of something like yogurt, it only has 1 or 2 types of strains of probiotics. But this one has multiple types, and like I said, the healthy yeasts as well. And when you think of a tablespoon of yogurt versus this is like at least easily between 10 and 50 times more. I'm gonna put on the screen exactly how much it is in reality here, because I might be blowing it up a bit out of proportion, but it's definitely way more full of probiotics than your regular everyday yogurt is. And it is definitely hands down much more probiotic content in it than you're going to even get in those pills that people buy at the grocery store. So it's definitely worth looking into. It has a sour texture that not everybody loves. And I mean, I personally don't love it, but I know how good it is for me. And so I do consume kefir regularly. And it is very nourishing for your body. I will show you how to make a smoothie that sweetens up the kefir and actually is a very nourishing type of smoothie as well that you can have every day for breakfast if you want, or as part of your breakfast. I will show that in another video very, very soon to come. I will go ahead and show you now how you're going to make another batch of kefir, because this is a living product here. You cannot just leave it doing nothing. You have to turn around and put this back to use again, because this kefir is because it's a living organism in a way, it needs to eat sugar. And this is exactly what it is eating inside of the milk products that you put with it. So the milk has sugar in it, natural sugars, and the kefir grains eat these natural sugars to the point where all you have left is the milk without very many sugars at all. And this is why it's so sour. So this is how you make, I'll just show you right now, how you can make another batch of kefir and take care of this living organism. Okay, so what you're going to need is a clean glass jar. Clean is very important. Make sure it doesn't have any bleach used in it or anything at all. It's just clean, not sterile, so to speak, jar. And the kefir grains are here in the bottom. There is no measurement that's needed here. So I have maybe 4 tablespoons of kefir. As I said, it grows slowly over time. So mine's expanded to this amount in maybe about a month or 2. But the thing that's important is just to make sure that you have kefir grains in it and that you don't use heat treated milk. I'm using regular homogenized milk, and I'm using about 2.5 cups of milk right now. It doesn't matter how much you use. Like, I'm just finishing off my bag of milk right now. Sometimes I will do a whole bag of milk, which is about a liter or so. And it doesn't really matter how much milk you use. The only thing that matters is your indicator, like I had mentioned before, is when this now looks solid. When in a couple of days from now, this starts to separate the whey from the curd in certain areas, then you'll know that it's ready. So whether you use 1 full liter or whether you use 1 cup, doesn't matter. It's just looking for whether the milk has curdled and become fully fermented. And some people might lightly ferment their kefir grains so that it's not as sour, but you're still looking for the whey and the curd separating from each other. And you don't need to stir it daily or anything like that. You could just leave it be, and you'll know after a couple of days it'll be ready to go. So this is how you make kefir. This is what kefir is. And I will show you in another video how to make a smoothie that helps to just add more nutrition to that. But it is so amazing for your gut. It's amazing for your digestive system. It's actually been reported for some people it helps with their allergies. As a probiotic, it will help to build your gut's ecosystem, basically. And if you think of it, as a plant, any plant will always do better when it has a great ecosystem, when it has like multiple nutrients in the soil. The same as our gut, it needs multiple varieties of bacteria in there. And so this has multiple varieties of good bacteria, which is so important for our gut. And, a good healthy gut is, not just good for digestion, but it's good even for your brain, seeing as that major vagus nerve that connects our gut to our brain will affect how we think. It's just as important to have a healthy gut so that we can have a healthy brain and healthy thinking, and avoid mood disorders and all other sorts of mental health issues that can actually stem from the gut. I hope that everybody's doing well and you're having a good day, and God bless you, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.